Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of TNT Daily Report on the Voice of Global Media on August 31st, 2020. My name is Rika. Now let's get started with our first news. We all know that China and India experienced border disputes about a couple days ago. However, news has revealed that China today is carrying out provocative movements to Indian borders again. Our reporter Cadenza and Stacy will tell you in more details.
Since the eruption in June, the deadly tensions between India and China continue as of Monday. India's defense ministry said the Chinese army has violated the previous consensus and carries out provocative military movements near Pangang Tso Lake in the remote Ladakh region. According to Indian Army officers and security analysts, CCP troops landed on the southern side of the lake, which is considered Indian territory, a couple days ago. India saw this as the latest example of CCP's aggression.
Thank you. As the two sides ended in a deadlock, another news about China's People's Liberation Army is building a heliport at tri-junction of India, Bhutan, and China this has been reported by Cadenza and Stacy. Let's hear it.
Open source satellite imagery has captured what appears to be a helicopter China is building in close proximity to two new air defense positions that cover sensitive stretches of the disputed border in Doklam and Sikkim sectors. The imagery shared by the open source intelligence analyst shows the suspected helicopter under construction at the tri-junction of the borders of India, Bhutan, and China, and at a distance of about 100 kilometers from Dokala and Nakula. The suspected helicopter is located almost equidistant from the two sites at which the People's Liberation Army of the CCP is developing surface-to-air missile facilities, according to imagery tweets.
Thank you. Moving on to our next news reported by the same reporters about Chinese government complicates TikTok sale ordered by US government. Let's get into details.
On Friday, the CCP introduced export restrictions on artificial intelligence technology, including the type that TikTok uses to choose which videos to spool up to its users. That means TikTok's Chinese owner, ByteDance, would have to obtain a license to export any restricted technologies to a foreign company. The Trump administration claims to ban TikTok by mid-September and ordered ByteDance to sell its U.S. business, claiming national security risks due to that CCP ownership. The government worries about user data being funneled to CCP authorities. TikTok denies it is a national security risk and is suing to stop the administration from the ban. On Saturday, CCP-owned media outlet Xinhua News Agency quoted government trade and advisor and professor Cui Fan, who said that ByteDance should consider whether it should halt negotiation to sell TikTok in the United States.
As more countries join into actions to take down the CCP, Czech officials, as China frequently sends ships and even practiced missiles to South China Sea to show its power. In fact, Czech appeared to be the one that brave enough to stand against by sending officials visiting Taiwan despite China's threat in retaliation. Let's hear in more details. The Czech Republic's top legislator on Monday told an economic forum in Taiwan that freedom and democracy are the basis of prosperity, on the second day of a visit that has drawn vows of retaliation from Beijing. Senate President Milos Vystrcil is leading a delegation of 89 leaders from the Central European countries' political, business, artistic, and academic circles on a trip aimed at boosting contacts. Thank you. As the truth of the CCP is harming the world being revealed, more and more countries join into the action to take down the CCP. Next news, we'll hear about US seeks formal alliance similar to NATO with India, Japan, and Australia. Washington aims to formalize its closer Indo-Pacific defense relations with India, Japan, and Australia, also known as the Quad, into something more closely resembling the North Atlantic Treaty Organization or NATO, a senior U.S. State Department official said on Monday. The U.S. government's goal is to get the grouping of 4 countries and others in the region to work together as a bulwark against a potential challenge from China and to create a critical mass around the shared values and interests of those parties in a manner that attracts more countries in the Indo-Pacific and even from around the world, ultimately to align in more structured manner, said Deputy Secretary of State Stephen Biegun. The Indo-Pacific region is actually lacking in strong multilateral structures, he said. He also said they don't have anything of the fortitude of Nato or the European Union. Stephen thinks that the strongest institutions in Asia oftentimes are not inclusive enough, and so there is certainly an invitation there at some point to formalize a structure like NATO. Thank you. Moving on to the next. University of Virginia researchers charged with theft of trade secrets and computer intrusion. Let's hear from Alice in details.
Haizhou Hu, a Chinese national conducting researcher at the University of Virginia, was arrested today and charged by criminal complaints with a pair of federal crimes just days after he attempted to board a flight to China. United States Attorney Thomas Cullen and David Arkey, special agent in charge of the FBI Richmond Division, announced the arrest. Hu, at the age of 34, is charged with accessing a computer without authorization or exceeding authorization to obtain information from a protected computer and theft to trade secrets. According to court documents, investigators first became aware of Hu is in the United States conducting research studying biomimics and fluid dynamics at the University of Virginia. On August 25, 2020, he attempted to board a flight to China at Chicago O'Hare International Airport. A routine screen conducted by authorities revealed that Hu was alleged to be in possession of bio-inspired research stimulation software code that he was not authorized to possess, and which represents the result of years of research and resources in its development by members of the University of Virginia academic community. The investigation of the case is being conducted by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. First Assistant United States Attorney Daniel Buba and Assistant United States Attorney Christopher are prosecuting the case for the United States.
Thank you for the report. Moving on to the next news about China calls on Europe to unite against extremist U.S. forces, reported by Stacy. Let's hear it. China has appealed to Europe to jointly confront extremist forces in the United States, pushing for decoupling as Washington tries to build a transatlantic alliance against Beijing. In a rebuke to U.S. President Donald Trump's American First slogan, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi told in an audience in Paris on Sunday that we never talk about China first. At present, China-U.S. relations are in the gravest situation since diplomatic relations began, with the U.S. publicly coercing other countries to take sides and attempting to push Sino-U.S. relations into conflicts and confrontations, Wang said in a speech at the French Institute of International Relations. At this critical juncture of human development, on the basis of responsibility for the fate of human destiny, China and the EU should jointly resist any countercurrents inciting hatred and confrontation. Wang is in Paris a month after White House National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien visited the city to brief European officials on a joint strategy against Chinese technology and geopolitical influence. Moving on to our final news of today about local schools in China implementing food waste penalty. The amount of food left in the plate is weighed at the end of each meal. If the personal average of food waste amount passes the standard, the whole class will be penalized with cancellation of scholarships. Following up is a video with more details.